So with that, I would like to welcome and introduce Mayor Mook from El Mirage.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for coming.
Now, I am not a professional speaker. I was not a politician before getting this job 8 years ago, and I'm still not a big speaker. So I asked that these questions be written out, and I had staff go through everything, make sure I'm saying the right, true, honest kind of things. And so that's how I plan to answer the questions that are on here.
Terrific.
Some will be reading and some will be off the cuff, but that's the plan.
Terrific. Thank you. So we're going to start off with that really big, broad question, that big picture question. What's your vision of El Mirage in 5 years and 10 years from now?
We have started a huge plan and a huge project in our roads. When I first was elected in 2010, I went to a major landowner in El Mirage and said, you know, we've got all of this farmland that's basically south of Peoria to northern. What can be done? What can you do? How can we help change some of this farmland into revenue generating land for the city of El Mirage? We really don't have that much in the way of large business, and mostly we had the farmland going on and a lot of little small businesses. So as some of you may know, housing only generates a certain amount of property tax and revenue in a city, so most cities are looking for commercial properties of one kind or another. We really didn't have that many, and from the land that was available for that, we really didn't have much infrastructure in there. So they told me one word: roads. So we went through, back then in 2010, Northern Parkway was just barely thought of. Now Northern Parkway comes all the way up to Dysart, and our piece of that land development starts later this year, late this year, beginning of next year. So our little 2-mile stretch will be completed within that time. Pretty much we tore apart most of the roads we have. And if you've driven through El Mirage during the last year and a half, you know what I mean. But Thunderbird Road is pretty much done from 127th Avenue clear over to Thompson Ranch Road. And when we did a little fixing up on Thompson Ranch Road as well. The El Mirage Road is right in front of our city hall right now, ripped up, but that's going to be paved within the next very few weeks. But it's finished all the way up to Santa Fe, which is where the Rio Mirage restaurant is on Santa Fe and Grand Avenue. So that stretch is completely done to nearly the city hall. So the county has a piece that they are doing from our park to Northern. That's the county piece. That's the last piece. And that will be finished this year. Then we have a new section that's going to be started on our frontage road from Greenway to Thompson Ranch Road. The west side of the frontage road, not the BNSF side, our side, is going to be completely remodeled. So we'll have new sidewalks, new lighting, benches, better redo the whole street in there. And it's in an effort to encourage businesses to come in and say, look, we're cleaning this up, we're trying to make it more presentable, and we encourage you to take a look at it. One of our biggest problems is we really don't have business-ready buildings in all parts. There's very, very few buildings that are already built to to accommodate businesses. So we've gone through and picked up a lot of these lots that had to be secured from doing the roads on Thunderbird Road, El Mirage Road. And as a matter of fact, we had a sale last council meeting that we approved, and I believe there were 8 or 10 lots that were purchased. So that's very encouraging that people, picked up all of those different properties. We still have a few left, but most of them that were open were four homes, and I think 4 businesses were bought when we did our road project on Thunderbird Road. So roads and infrastructure. We're putting sewer in, we're putting water in, and all those kind of things. So we're ready for businesses. And as a matter of fact, we have our general plan on a 5 and 10 year section. We have 1,400 acres of foreign trade zone. So we are working with GPEC on that. So I answered several of your questions in here, I think.
Yeah,
but
and we can, and
it all
as
ties
we go
together.
through- yeah, it all ties together, and you can expound as we go through and expand on some of those. If you are not familiar with the road projects that El Mirage has been working on, you can go to wemargad.org, go to El Mirage. More's coming. wemargad.org, go to El Mirage, and you can find the El Mirage general plan there, that 5 and 10 year plan. You can also find the details about particularly that Thunderbird project, which was massive and made such a huge improvement, but it did provide a lot of traffic issues during that construction time. But it's huge, those road improvements. And if you've never been to the El Mirage City Hall, now that it's located where it is, it's really a beautiful building. So wait until the construction in front of it's gone, then go down and visit it. It's really beautiful. You guys did a nice job with that.
We're very proud of that, and we'll give you a tour anytime you want to come.
Great.
So don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah. Can you give us an update on the new projects in El Mirage? You already gave us a lot, but there's several others that you started to illuminate. Yeah.
Right. The Butler Avenue is an area that's coming off the Northern Parkway, and we have a number of larger businesses down in there that we wanted to fix the road, make it better. So it's working on that. And Dysart Road, I can brag a little bit on this one. By doing all of these different projects at the same time, you save money. And when you use the same contractor and they don't have to haul all their equipment in 5 times to do 5 different projects, you save a lot of money. And we were able to do that. So we saved enough money to pave Dysart Road from Peoria Avenue to Northern. It's only a one way in each direction now, and it's going to be 2 in each direction, which is big for us. But we saved enough money to be able to do that. Yes, yes. And we need to do that. El Mirage will be really great, by the end of this year. And now Dysart too.
Terrific.
So that's a good thing. And the sewer systems and those kind of things are going in there in that as well. So we talked about the Northern Parkway coming in. So
great.
That's that.
Okay. In May, we heard from several experts on economic development plans for the West Valley. And this is May of 2016 that we got our last big update, but periodically we get other updates as people are moving along with that economic development plan for their area. Is El Mirage working in conjunction with other West Valley cities as part of El Mirage's overall economic development plan?
Yes. We have a close relationship with the West Valley cities, and we participate with several of the entities like the Luke Planning Committee. That's a big thing because, all of us that are near the base have some restrictions on what can be and what can't be in there. So we work really closely with them. GPEC, of course, we have a number of leads that we've followed up with them. Westmark has been fantastic with us, and we've worked with them for quite a while. The West Valley Real Estate Group and Valley Partnership. So the West Valley Workforce Strategies Committee with Westmark has been especially helpful to us, as have everyone. I mean, you're all in the same business to sell real estate, so the more you know about a community, the better. And Westmark has been really working on getting the word out as to West Valley. You know, it's like we've said, it's our time now. East Valley had their time, now it's West Valley's turn.
Absolutely. If you're unfamiliar with Westmark's workplace development study, they started that, I'm going to say, what, 3 years ago, something like that? It's been quite a while they've been working on that. And it was all in the name of not only making it information for cities and professionals like us, but also the public and companies, CEOs who are looking to the West Valley to relocate or to Arizona and saying, hey, we have the workforce here. Because what has been happening is that the companies come in and they say, we have to locate in the East Valley because that's where all the workers are. And what they didn't realize is that about a third of the workers that they're looking at drive from the West Valley. So Westmark's whole agenda was, let's show them. And they had this really, about 2 years ago, they unveiled the first little bit of that. And they unveiled the little part where it showed lights in the West Valley at 5 a.m. in all the houses. And then between 5 and 8 in the morning, they all start going east. And the West Valley's got no more lights. And then about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the lights start coming back to the West Valley. It was really a dynamic introduction. And now they have gone further and they have put so much information together. So the cities are able to use that information. So when a company comes to a city and says, we're thinking about relocating our manufacturing plant or our research facility or our headquarters here in your city, the cities can grab some of that detailed information and say, well, let me tell you about our city and the West Valley. And I've got to say, the cities have worked really remarkably well. In 2016, when the cities started talking about we're working together, a lot of us didn't think that they're going to be working together. They work together amazing. They will actually introduce someone who's looked at their city and they just don't have quite what they want, and they'll introduce them to economic development in one of the other West Valley cities who has what they need. And they do that back and forth. And one of the reasons we're seeing this dynamic change in the West Valley is because cities like El Mirage work with the other cities around them. So it's a West Valley regional economic development plan, and that is amazing. So just the cities doing that, thank you to your city and the other cities for working together. It has made such a huge change. It's terrific.
Well, we have been saying for many years now, if someone wants to live in the West Valley, that's great. We hope they come to us, but if they don't, we're still going to benefit from those people coming to the West Valley because they're going to come to our stores, they're going to employ our people, and it's still a great partnership to have working with all these different cities and different companies and whatnot, because even if it's not located within our city, we're going to benefit. And we appreciate all the businesses and the people who moved to our area. The other piece of information that we were able to get, and I've been a part of that, I'm on the executive committee with Maricopa Association of Governments. They have done huge studies and have research concerning where people are locating and what that workforce is and what's being built and where they live and where they go to work. And you can get on their website and look all of that up. It's really, for realtors, it's extremely beneficial.
Amazing resource. And if you go to wemargad.org, we actually have links to a lot of, it's MAG, M-A-G is what you'll hear it referred to, Maricopa Association of Governments. We have links. So a lot of them are maps. Some of it, so you can go in, and the interactive maps are fantastic because you can zoom into where you want to look and get that information, that data. So yes.
And they move. Yeah. These maps actually move with the traffic and whatnot. So
it's pretty amazing, some of the information they have. So yes, definitely check that out. How is the revitalization effort in Old El Mirage coming along?
It's working very well. One of the things we were able to do a few years ago was to partner with ADEQ, and we actually paved all the alleys. Now, You might not think, well, that's not that big a deal, but it really is when you're looking at an older section of town where you've got these dirt alleys, and every time any kind of vehicle goes through there, especially kids and even bikes, raises the dust and makes a mess and whatever. And so we've done the revitalization in the alleys, and it's also cleaned up growth of weeds and all those kind of things that were up against fences. And it made it more difficult for people to hide and carry on things they probably shouldn't be carrying on with. And so the police department likes it a lot. Yeah. So property owners like it a lot. And it actually opened up some ways for people to start using their backyards. Since that was all cleaned up, they can use fencing, you know, putting new fencing in, and open up some of those gates that have been blocked off for many years. So they really like that. Nice. So we've done that. But the other thing that we did, we partnered with a company that used to be, I believe, in Nevada, and they had this pavement preservation program, brand new to Arizona. No one here had thought about using it. So they approached us, gave us a whopping deal to say, hey, if you'll use it and test it out for us, and if it works, then we'll spread the word and all that kind of thing. Well, needless to say, it worked out fantastic. So depending on the size of cracks that are in and I'm not an engineer, you can tell that, the size of the cracks determine which kind of treatment gets put on that particular street. And we've done nearly all of our streets now over the years. Every 2 years, I believe, they get another little shot of this stuff. And it has worked fantastic. And several of the other cities have started using it. Oh, wow. So we're really proud of that we were, you know, innovative and, you know, on the ground floor. And it saves a lot of money to the taxpayer, because if you treat those cracks early enough and whatnot, you're not going to have to go back and put the big costing, you know, pavement preservation thing on that. So that was one thing we've done throughout the whole city.
Oh, that's nice. So let's see here. Please update us on efforts to attract and assist new and existing business to move into El Mirage. You have a large number of small businesses and individual franchisees. How do you make sure El Mirage is friendly to new and current business owners?
We have economic director, development director, who is really good at that. Mm-hmm. And we try to partner with them and give them the best possible deal we can. Now we've got these different properties that are available because we acquired them, you know, during the street processing thing. So those are now on the market. And I'm going to say we've probably had 5 or 6 brand new businesses come in. Wow. Who weren't there before and have either built something. There's 2 big revitalization areas going on now with one of our, it used to be a meat market. Mm-hmm. And it was called Jan's Market on Thunderbird. Now they're putting a whole new roof on it and totally redoing the building, and it's a fairly large building, so I'm hoping something really cool will come in there. So we're working with everyone who wants to find a place to have or grow their business.
Great. So Tom Doyle is the Economic Development Director for El Mirage, and he's going to be here at Weimar for our Lunch and Learn on April 24th as part of the Government Affairs Advisory Council meeting. So if you're coming to the Government Affairs Advisory Council meeting, you will hear Tom Doyle speak about some of these projects that are going in, how he interacts with business. He very much is a boots on the ground, go meet you, shake your hand, talk to you type of person, which is why he's issued that invitation to business to come give him input. He really means it. It's not fluff. So he would love your input. And when you see him here at Weimar, you'll be happy that you did. Really engaging guy, very good.
He works with the CoStar software that I think you all use too, so he's very familiar with all of that.
Yes, he does, yeah. So. He's darn good at what he does.
Our 1,400, one other thing I've got down here, the foreign trade zone. We have 1,400 acres of single family owned land in a designated foreign trade zone. And the city has submitted over 20 lead proposals to various GPEC leads in light manufacturing and food processing, steel fabrication, and distribution centers, to name a few. EPCOR just built a brand new building there. It's beautiful. We had a little tour and a ribbon cutting last week. We have and I can't say who, but we have a nationwide steel fabricating company coming. And it's in that same area. We also have a medical marijuana indoor plant being built in that same area, very large one. So all of this road building and straightening around of things is working. And we're really, really thrilled
And
about it.
is that in the southern part of the city? Yes.
It's all south of Peoria.
Right.
All the light industrial, and that is south of Peoria.
And one of the, if you look on a map, one of the great things about that part of El Mirage is that you actually have a rail spur that comes up there. So think about the potential with a rail spur there. It's amazing. And Tom does a great job about thinking about what is a great use for that and keeping in mind what that means. So it's not just willy-nilly. This is really well thought out planning that's happening. So
that particular area, the rail spur, we just got the okay recently from BNSF that yes, we're putting that in. So that's huge.
That is really
huge.
big. Yes. Is El Mirage actively courting businesses from other states or countries?
We are. We're working with GPEC on that, and Tom is the expert on those kind of things. A lot of things you can't really talk about until, they're all code names for,
Yeah.
and I'm not that familiar with that part of the business, but when a company comes in, then they'll call, and I'll go meet them and chat to,
Yes.
about what's what, and they want to talk about schools, and they want to talk about, shopping and how far it is, and we have very affordable housing. We don't have great big mansions in El Mirage, as you well know, but we do have some affordable housing, and half of our area is HOAs, and that helps a lot to keep property values up and whatnot.
And you're working well with your HOA, so that's good that they're aware of that. So GPEC is the Greater Phoenix Economic Council, and then there's another entity called ACA, Arizona Commerce Authority, and those two are state. They look at the whole state, and they try to go out and recruit businesses, companies, not just jobs too, but just companies also to come and relocate. So when the mayor talks about these leads that she's getting, that's where she's getting it, is from an entity whose job it is to bring in those leads to the cities.
And we're very, very glad to, participate in any of that, but because like I said, even if it doesn't end up coming to El Mirage, it's going to help us because they're going to have a place to live, and they're going to want to buy things. So, it helps the whole area.
I don't think most people know that El Mirage has a foreign free trade zone, and you mentioned it a little bit earlier. So let's talk about how are you utilizing your foreign free trade zone in economic development, and if you could explain a little bit what that is, the foreign free trade zone it is.
Well, we have an area of 1,450 acres, and the city identifies our zone on proposals for new business locates. And what this does through GPEC and ACA is advertise our foreign trade zone at outreach presentations that are identified in community profiles on state and regional websites. Not everyone is capable of utilizing a foreign trade zone, but we don't have any businesses approved in our zone yet, but the city has signed taxing authority letters allowing foreign trade zone property tax reductions on file. And these letters are required for company approved foreign trade zone status. So if you don't have it, you can't get it. So it's important for you to have it so that you can offer it and it is available. And many cities don't have it. So it's something that, again, Westmark, remember, gosh, I'm not that great on names. He was heading up Westmark about 10 years ago, and then he got sick.
Oh gosh, yes.
And tall guy, white hair, Jack
Yes.
Lunsford, yes. Thank you. He was instrumental in getting the foreign trade zone started in the West Valley. And then Michelle came along and she helped promote it, as well. But we jumped on it right away, knowing that, eventually we're going to have some roads in there, we're going to have some rail in there, and it's going to pay off. And now it's starting to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So when you think foreign free trade zones, in case, I'll just give you one big one that you guys drive past all the time, and you may not realize it, it's at PV 303. That's where the 303 comes in at 10. That's Goodyear's foreign free trade zone. So you've seen what's happened there. If you're unfamiliar with foreign free trade zones, you can go wemargad.org, and I have a whole posting on foreign free trade zones. I'm going for 10 at least. So yes.
What's that refrigerator company that's in Goodyear that just...
Sub-Zero.
Yes.
Yeah, Sub-Zero Wolf is in there.
Yeah,
yes.
They got that.
So, and the key thing about foreign free trade zones is people go, well, oh my gosh, they're getting a lower tax rate. But you have to understand what the baseline is here. They take land that pays almost no property tax, and they put in this special incentive as a foreign free trade zone, so that company pays less than they would if they were outside of it for property tax, but way more than what that property was paying in property tax. So it's actually a huge net gain, and everybody sort of wins in the meantime. In the meantime, we have jobs, we have growth, we have manufacturing. So when you look at the entire package, it really was quite a great program that started. And yes, Westmark sort of manages that program now for the cities. Yeah.
Right.
All right, let's take one more question before we go to break.
Okay.
Flex space, light industrial, and space is appropriate for research, medical, or industrial, are in short supply here in the West Valley. Do you have plans to increase these or other types of commercial space? And you sort of touched on this a little bit. Can you expand on your intentions there?
We do have a limited inventory of available buildings for flex space, but we're working with a company that plans to build a new business. It's huge. It's very large. I can't say yet. And the city also has requests for proposals, RFPs, for several select city-owned parcels that is now able to be used for this purpose as well. And one building is our old city hall that could be converted to office space or small business utilization.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So flex space, if you are unfamiliar with it, we have very limited amounts here in the West Valley. Our commercial agents have been asking this for over 2 years now because they have companies who want to come in. Basically, you have a small office in the front that says, hi, how are you? But the idea is that raw product comes in, and when it gets through the back end of that building, it's a product that can be sold, and it's put on a truck and taken to its location. So it's a straight line from raw material down to finished product. And that space we are lacking. So the fact that you're putting that in is going to excite all the commercial agents in the West Valley, no end. All right, let's take about a somewhere between 5 and 7 minutes from now, we'll come back. But let's take a short break.
Right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right.
We'll start with you.
Okay, what is with all the speed cameras? Okay, you may not agree with me, and you may not like what I'm about to say, but this is what I tell everyone whenever this topic comes up. Smaller cities have a great deal of difficulty providing all the public safety measures, people, programs that really need to be provided like the big cities do. For instance, we don't have a SWAT team. We don't have a lab team. We don't have a lot of the extra police services that Phoenix and Glendale and Surprise have. So we look for ways to enlarge our forces and to multiply the ability for public safety to occur. And it's been proven time and time again that speed kills. So we used to have cameras on US 60 at Primrose, Grand Avenue, and the legislature came in and took them off of all state roads, and that's considered a state road. So, but we still have them, and we still have them at a number of our intersections, and some of, like Dysart, we put a new one on there, and it works. What happens is none of the cameras go off unless you're 11 miles over the speed limit. You can go 10 miles, if it's a 45, you can go 55, and it's not going to go off. But you go 11 miles over and it's going to catch you. So our police department loves the cameras because they don't have to sit there watching for people speeding. And we know that, you know, if there's a 2-mile stretch and you have a camera in the center of that 2-mile stretch, as soon as people pass it, they're going to speed. Well, you know, you can't be everywhere and put a camera every quarter mile on the road. But it has saved lives, it has saved accidents, it has cut down on the number of accidents and serious injury occurrences since we've had the cameras on. And we're especially thankful to have them in our school zones. So we've put them on Dysart by the high school and the elementary school, and on Thompson Ranch Road. And it's a force multiplier for our police department. And it's beneficial to the citizens. It's not, people will say, well, it's unconstitutional, it's invading our personal rights and whatnot, but I really think that it's more important to have safety on the streets. Now, I will tell you, when we had the Primrose camera on, that thing was flashing, going crazy, you know? And we were raking in a lot of money, okay, from that. Of course, when you look at what the county charges, what the state charges, what the school charges if you elect to, you know, go to class instead of pay the fine, that significantly cuts into what the city ends up getting. But on a speed citation, the amount of money that the city gets is in the $34 to $36 range per ticket. It's $10 more than if a policeman wrote you up, because the court gets their cut, the state gets their cut. You know, there's a number of different fees that are attached to speeding tickets, whether it's done by a policeman or it's done by photo radar. So it generates in the mid-30s, say $35 on average, actual money going into our general fund per ticket. It costs you over $200 for the ticket, but it's not a money generator unless you've got something like a Primrose thing going on where, you know, every minute almost seemed like the thing was going off. In the old city hall, in my office window was right there, and I see that flash, you know, like going. But we don't get that anymore because the state camera's gone. And we're just getting it throughout the city now. And we have, this past year, for the first time, had to dig into the general fund to help pay the cost of photo radar. So we are not making any money anymore on it. So that's, from my mouth to yours, that's exactly what's going on. But it is saving lives, and it is decreasing the number of accidents on our streets. So we intend to continue it unless the legislature takes it totally away from us. Is there any question about that? I'm glad to answer. Yes?
So the city of Mirage had to do the maintenance on those cameras?
No. To put the cameras up, this is another misconception, to install the cameras, to calibrate them, and they're calibrated very often to make sure that they are registering the correct speed and all of that, to maintain them. the guys are out there from Redflex. We don't maintain anything. The city and the taxpayers do not maintain any of that. Redflex comes out, they make sure everything's working properly, they change things. If there is a calibration problem, they go back and they actually remove any ticket that occurred during that calibration period. So you never even know. You may have got flashed, but you will not get a ticket, because if there's any kind of mistake or any kind of thing going on, those tickets are never sent out. And, but it costs no money for the city or the taxpayer to maintain those cameras and to take care of them. A lot of people don't realize that. So, but even putting them, installing them, all that, they pay for all of that. So, anyone else? Okay. Will there be any designated traffic lanes for the industrial business like semis? Whose question is that, and where did you mean? Designated traffic lanes. Yes.
So, because a lot of people in this room I know are surprise agents that live in surprise.
Yes.
Going through El Mirage is common.
Yes.
The traffic is, it's just because of the construction, traffic is worse. And I know as more industrial business comes in, especially before in the trade zone, you're going to see more semis, more traffic in that sense. My concern is all of us are commuting, trying to get home or coming from our appointments. Is it going to be cluttered? I mean, is the traffic going to get worse because of the industrial business?
South of Peoria, yes.
Yeah,
And that's why we're opening up Dysart Road. It's why we've opened up El Mirage Road to Northern, and we're participating in Northern Parkway. That's exactly why we're doing that, so that it opens it up.
Right, you're widening all the roads. You know how we have designated bicycle lanes and a lovely bowler pit and designated dog park.
Who has a designated traffic lane for industrial now?
No one.
Well, we're not.
I thought it'd be great.
No.
That one traffic.
We're doing all we can to just have a regular road. No, we're not going to be doing that. No. I would love to have the money, let me tell you. No, not happening.
You know, even on my way here, coming through Sun City, I saw an idiot in the truck go around a construction truck.
Yeah.
And oncoming traffic was a double yellow line. And so I see people are going to do that, especially if there's increased semi-traffic. People are going to make bad choices.
Yeah.
It's just a thought.
Our whole thing in that southern portion, you know, like I said, from south of Peoria, is to encourage industrial businesses to come in there. We can't put houses in there because of Luke.
Right.
So that was our next best thing. Besides that, you know, I might not be very popular saying this too, houses cost city money. They don't make city money. You know that?
Right.
Okay. But we love them, and we have a lot of them. So, do you want me to do this one?
This was yeah, sure.
Okay, if you had the opportunity to speak directly to home buyers, what would you make sure they know about El Mirage? Your top 3 reasons to choose El Mirage. Well, the reason that I became mayor of El Mirage was because the city was having great difficulty in getting along with Luke. And they were arguing with them about the planes and the noise, and they didn't want the F-35 coming in. And I just had a kid in the Air Force Academy, and I wanted her to be able to get the best training possible. So when I had just moved here, I'm like, oh, hell no. No, I don't believe that our citizens feel that way, and found out they don't. It was a group of council people and administrators that really thought that if the base was turned off, you know, quit, and it became a commercial, that they would clean up, you know, financially. And fortunately, our residents did not feel that way, so we fought it and we won. So we are a Luke Air Force Base friendly city, and we're very proud to be there and to welcome all the military families. And we work with Luke a lot with our YMCA and whatnot to provide programs for our military and give them good breaks on that kind of stuff. So that plus affordable housing, you know. We do have a number of rentals, probably more rentals than we might, you know, have thought we would be happy with, but it's providing housing to a lot of the military families, and we're very, very pleased to be able to do that. We know that they're only going to be there 2, 3, 4 years, but that's okay. It's worked out well for us, and we're working with it. The other thing that we did is we've held the rate on utilities for 6 years. We have not had any increase in water, trash, sewer during that period of time. I'm hoping we can continue that, but we did a rate study with Red Oak, and they told us 7 years ago, you're going to have to increase 10% for 2 years, and then you're done, because they hadn't had any rate increases the previous 6 or 8 years. So we bit the bullet, went ahead and increased the rates for water, and then the last 5 years we've not had any increases in water rates. So we're affordable in that way too. And we work with Parks and Sons to pick up our trash. We instituted bulk trash, which we never had before, and where they come get chemicals and hazardous materials and whatnot. We started that, trying to...
They'll pick it up from the resident.
Yes, and it's just coming up, I believe, next month, where you call them, you make an appointment, you put your stuff out, they'll actually come to the house
That's
and
unique.
pick it up.
That's
Yes. Yeah. So we're very, very pleased to have that going on. When I came in, we didn't have recycled trash either. And so then we started it, regular trash on one day and recycled on another. And then I went to them and I said, hey, why can't we pick them up the same day so we don't have garbage cans out here, you know, twice a week? So we've been doing that the last few years. So we're trying to be like big city, you know? Yeah.
It's just easier from a resident point of view too. You only have to remember one night.
Yeah, right. Okay.
This question just came in. It's a follow-up to the real estate. It's another realtor asking, how would you like us to describe El Mirage, which you just gave us your 3 highlights. How would you like us, how would you like us other parts of the valley, relocating from out of state? Are you looking for things that we should say?
How would I put it? Sometimes El Mirage has a perception.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
We're trying to change that.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not. There's definitely an East Valley perception where some people
Yes.
have heard of El Mirage, and then there's often a very negative perception. This maybe not always warranted. So how would you like us to advertise El Mirage to people from other parts of the valley because of the improvements that you've made and are continuing to make, and also people that we have moving from out of state?
We have already been given information showing that our crime rate is way down, comparable to the rest of most of the West Valley, which I'm thrilled about, and our amount of serious crime is way down as well. So that's something that, you know, I don't think the news people are going to be out, you know, beating our drum about that, but I think it's something we can prove and something that we're very proud of. We are, as a matter of fact, we've just increased our patrols to a 5th patrol, so, which is huge in a small city to have a whole new squad. And I was at a swearing in yesterday for 5 of them. So we're increasing not only our police, but our fire as well. So we're a safe city. We just need to shout out about it more, I think, you know, contrary to past history, you know. Yeah.
But you just
Yeah.
there's a perception.
Yeah, and you know, cleaning stuff up makes a big difference too. We hardly have any graffiti anymore. Would you agree to that? Yeah. When I moved there, oh my God, you know, it was just rampant. And so we hired a company and raised all kinds of cane and said, no, this is gone the same day. And some people don't like that, as you may know as well. Because if we have a graffiti on their fence, we say, today. Get it gone today. And the HOAs get kind of snippy about it, you know, but it works. And there's very, very little graffiti.
Great.
And the railroad bridge is not ours. That's BNSF and ADOT's bridge. But we go out there sometimes, you know, going to Youngtown.
Yeah.
We go out there a lot of times and cover it up just because we don't want it to show.
That's the entrance to
It is.
your city.
Yeah, yeah.
Good for you.
And I've threatened to go out there and just paint that whole bridge, you know, but I don't want to cause a war with BNSF. They're good to us. So, yes.
One of the
He has
least
a-
I'm sorry,
has a
did you have a question? Yes.
Well, in light of this conversation, sometimes neighborhoods will be given incentives for the residents to clean up their properties or modern homes and all of that. Be careful about this, but I used to live there. Grand Avenue is El Mirage's version of the New York Turnpike, or the New Jersey Turnpike. And you have a strip along there. And is there anything that encourages people there to dress up the image?
Clean it up? Yeah. I've been suggesting to the Food City area, you know, and I think they're coming around to trying to make things better. But interestingly enough, you know that big apartment complex on Thunderbird Road, on the south side of Thunderbird? Had you noticed before the road project started how kind of ratty it was beginning to look? I know there's better words than that, but they, without being asked, without getting any kind of notices, whatever, halfway through the road project, they totally repainted and cleaned everything up. And I sent them a letter and thanked them for, you know, making the effort and making it look so much nicer and whatnot. So that has happened with several of the other buildings on Thunderbird Road. Since it's looking nice, we are taking out nasty looking buildings, and even bare dirt looks better than nasty buildings. So they're cleaning it up and they're doing it on their own. And I'm hoping that when we do the revitalization on the frontage road there, that many of those will see the benefits of cleaning it up.
Something in the works to finish that off.
Yes.
I'm the broker that brought in Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Yes.
They turned a used car lot.
Yes.
Something that's nationally known and brings a lot of people to El Mirage.
And I've used it myself a lot. Yeah.
So that all those to the north and the properties to the south, but there's going to be more upgrading and different.
From Greenway to Thompson Ranch Road on the non-train side, okay, is going to be redone. The lighting that we put on Thunderbird Road, the wide sidewalks, yeah, all of that's going to be.
And as an extension of the enterprise, I can attest to the fact that the city is very cooperative in getting good people and good businesses in. And they do whatever is necessary to assist the enterprise.
We told our permit people and all of those, you know, that meet with businesses and work with them and whatever, you do whatever needs to be done to make them happy. And that's just been what it's been, you know, and we've had problems in the past with not having people who were as educated maybe or as resourceful as what we have now, and now it works. And we're just so grateful that the businesses have expressed their happiness and satisfaction with how our permit people do it. So thank you. Yes.
In talking about the kind of commercial business and housing, Pueblo Mirage, a resort community out there, do you consider that when you talk about housing, not bringing in money, but a resort community like that with, you know, your golf course and, you know, and all that, is that the same for a community like that as in housing? You know what I'm saying, as far as like a revenue generator?
It is a revenue generator because we get sales tax revenue on the rentals. Yes, it is a very nice revenue generator, and it's a family-owned business. And they have made some improvements in there. They had a floodplain problem for a little bit, and we just fixed that. So that was several years in the making to resolve that problem. And they've been a very good partner with us. You know, I would say about 300 people live there full-time now in the fairways section of the resort. And then, of course, it's amazing how many motorhomes come in there.
I was going to ask if you do get money off of it. Yeah.
Yes?
Is there room out there for more communities like that somewhere?
Unfortunately, not really, because of the base. You know, we're under restriction from that. And the only communities, I can tell you this, if you're looking at the intersection of Thompson Ranch Road and Grand, and I get confused all the time as to where's east-west because Grand is so funky, you know. So if you're going, say, towards Surprise on Grand, and you're about to pass Thompson Ranch Road, there's a large blank area on the right-hand side, and then across Thompson Ranch Road, there's another large blank area, bare area. The first one that you pass by here has already submitted plans for over 100 homes, and we approved it. So that's coming in, but then there's going to be some commercial along the front of that on Thompson Ranch Road, but there'll be homes on that section, and supposedly the plan is to put some on the other side too. And I believe they're around 1,600 to 1,800 square feet. So that will be coming in.
That's great.
In spite of the fact that they're on Grand Avenue and they've got, you know, the railroad to deal with. So that's pretty nice. And that's about the only areas that we have in town where new homes, or any homes, can be built, are those two sections. It's pretty well built out for residents. Okay?
Oh, Mike, did you have one?
I heard that, excuse me, that where the railroad is now with all the cars that come in,
Yes.
that they are moving that down the line and that area is going to open up for development of some kind.
The plan there with BNSF, we've been talking to the economic development people that are in Texas for that. And it's not in the plan right now as being imminent. But yes, they want to move that whole business off, and it's either, I believe it's just beyond Whitman in that area, because they have, you know, rail over there too. And when they do that, then that supposedly would become a station for commuter rail and all the businesses that go with that. So that would be huge. But I doubt that I'll see it in my lifetime, you know. But that's their plan.
Nice.
But their whole thing is, when, the last time I talked to them about it, it was like, well, we have to make our freight is first. The freight business is number one. They don't so much care about passenger, but you say, if our freight goes up, before the recession, there was 14 trains a day there, which seems like, oh my God, It went down to 2 when the recession thing hit. There were only 2. So now it's coming back up. So it's becoming, more profitable for them, and they have the say-so whether commuter rail goes in or not the cities, because they have the rail.
It's theirs, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm hoping.
One of the least expensive and most effective forms of business advertising is signage. Mars published a sign ordinance white paper discussing our concerns with sign ordinances and making our case for property owners and business owners retain the right to use signs. One of our concerns is inadequate signage. Businesses and property owners who cannot place adequate signage on an appropriate size will find El Mirage a difficult city to do business in, buy, or sell property. Is the city of El Mirage updating their sign ordinance?
We will be working on that, but we haven't yet gone into what we should go into to make that happen. What kind of signage is most critical that you see?
Well, understanding that we represent commercial as
Right.
well as residential. For our residential property owners and our residential agents, the ability to have a sign that people can see in the front yard, or if their back fence backs up to a major road, having that over the fence sign so that people know they're there, they're aware. Having the ability to have open house directional signs that get you from where you are when you first arrive into the city or the area where the neighborhood is, and then bringing you to the house. So enough signs to get you to the location, however many that is, whether that's 2 signs or 20 signs, just depends on how deep you are. You don't have some of the huge rambling and very convoluted
Right.
subdivisions that some of the other cities have, but still, having listed and sold property, it takes more than a couple signs to get somebody from Grand
Right.
into a neighborhood and find the house. So that type of adequacy on the residential side of the fence. On the commercial side of the fence, monument signs that are there, but you just can't see them or read them until you're on them or past them. That's a problem. Or wall signs on a building that there's a sign there, but once again, you can't see them adequately enough to read what that sign says until you're past it. And think about some of the speed limits. If you're going 45 miles an hour and you've got a monument sign that on paper looks pretty big, but in real life, the signage, the actual letters or logo, you can't discern until you're on top of it. That provides an issue, not only of the business not getting the clients they need to, but just people stomping on the brakes or crossing 2 or 3 lanes. It becomes sometimes a traffic issue too. There's the store I wanted, and it's on the right side instead of the left side. Addresses that are covered up by landscaping, because landscaping grew, and landscaping ordinance said you had to have this landscaping here, but then it did this thing called grow, and now you can't read the address because it's at the bottom, or a tree that's bigger than the monument sign, and now we have a monument sign, but it's really pointless because you got a tree there. So that type of thing for our commercial people, the ability to have a sign identifying where their business is and have people see it. And then for our residential side, having the ability to have those signs that adequately say, hey, I have my house for sale or for lease, and here's how you get here when I have an open house. So that sort of general idea.
I haven't seen anyone come through, or been notified myself of anyone come through saying those kind of things. I would suggest you pick one
Okay.
thing
Okay.
that may be, the most critical need,
Okay.
and bring it forward.
Okay.
Show what some other cities around us do.
Great.
Say, look, we're realtors, we're having to compete. We would like, you cleaned up your town, we would like to sell more houses, or we would like to encourage more businesses, but the signage is a problem.
Okay, great.
Bring it forward to planning and zoning
Okay.
and see what they say. And even if they say no, council
Terrific.
can override anything,
Right.
okay? But show why
Okay.
you would like to have a little bit better, sign plan.
Terrific.
And if it's not being up there forever, like some people would like to have a sign up there blowing in the wind, forever, that's temporary. I would,
Permanent, temporary, yeah.
exactly, exactly. I would think, you know, you would have a good chance of getting some changes made.
Great. Okay, so you heard the mayor. We have a sign-up sheet for El Mirage if you would like to be part of the group who sits down, looks at the sign ordinance, finds one or two things that we can be very specific and pointed on, and we absolutely love to do that. Then please sign up, and I will email you, and we will sit down and go through the El Mirage sign ordinance, pick one or two things, and start this train rolling. Thank you.
Especially if you can show, hey, your neighbors are doing it.
Yes.
You know? And it's working for them.
That's
So,
right. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So that's an invitation. Okay, Community Facilities District.
I'm going to catch hell for that. I know it.
Well, honestly,
It's
we
too
were going
bad.
to come anyway. So
It's too bad.
you were already on our calendar
Don't
to come
tell them I
visit.
said that.
So you can blame it on me. Community Facility Districts, CFDs, they are becoming more common. In some cities, we'll see several CFDs associated with one parcel of land. So the first question is, does El Mirage have CFDs, or do you plan to have them? And other than the detailed property tax bill, do you have a location at the city that we could easily find that particular information?
We don't have any.
Well, there you go. That takes care of that.
We don't
Good.
have any, but I would say, you know, you could bring it up with Tom Doyle and see what kind of a economic toolbox might, you know, make some changes to accommodate that. I don't remember anyone asking specifically for
We're not
that.
big fans of CFDs because of all the ancillary costs that accumulate out of
we
that. So
don't
we're
have
just
any.
as happy that you don't. So that's great news for us. That
Okay.
You don't have any. That takes a lot of pressure off us, plus the disclosure issues. How are your public safety personnel doing in El Mirage? Specifically, your police department, which you sort of illuminated, you're expanding that, but can you tell us a little more about your police department? And
Well, I have some stats here. Property crime is down 12.3%. Violent crime is down 10%. And the department now has a full-time community engagement sergeant, and he's really good. And that has exceeded expectation in terms of participation in city and community events. We have increased our community events huge. Amber, how many do we have? She's in charge of that.
Right, we have a calendar for next season for 18-19. It has eight stationary signature events that we hold. At Gentry, we split them between Gentry Park, which is located in, we call it Old Town, downtown El Mirage, and Gateway Park, which is our newer park by the YMCA, the police station, and of course the City Hall. And then we also have auxiliary events. We work with the YMCA. We're holding a shred-a-thon and e-waste and medical disposal. That's coming up. So we also hold smaller events throughout the year. So in total, maybe 12.
Yeah, yeah. And each one of them, you know, we started out like any city does, you know, and it's usually, you know, kind of lightly attended because they didn't really know exactly. And now it has grown to anywhere from 2,500 to 5,000 people.
wow.
I mean, it is busy. And so we just had our Easter thing, you know, with Hoppy the Bunny and all that stuff. And we had all these egg hunts. How many egg hunts we have? 5 or 6
Just
egg
the
hunts.
0 to 2 group, we had 8 separate hunts for 0 to 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so, you know, we have a Christmas tree lighting event, and we have a Cinco de Mayo, and a veterans event was really good. We had the wall out there, you know, the traveling wall out there one year, and yeah. So we're trying to do things that the community really enjoys, that the kids, you know, have a good time with. We have a public safety event, which ties into this. And they brought the helicopters and fire trucks and EMS people and military, and it was really good, really good. So we're listening to the community, and we make some changes. If something doesn't work out, you know, quite well, then they tweak it and make it better the next year. But every year, it's being attended by a lot more people than the year before, so we're really pleased. But getting back to what's going on with public safety, in 2013, the city built a new police station, and that's equipped with state-of-the-art technology, including digital fingerprinting machines and new computers. In 14 and 15, the city upgraded officers' tasers. In 15, again, the officers were equipped with brand new body-worn cameras, which they love.
Do they? Okay.
They do, they do. And you know, it not only provides the officers with protection from liability, but it ensures accountability and transparency as well. So they're happy with that. Our amount of complaints has pretty much paralleled other cities in that we don't have people coming up saying he or she did that as an officer. And we don't have, it just doesn't happen anymore, you know? They don't even come out with their cell phones, you know, and they've tried it a couple of times because I heard the stories about it. And they say, well, you know, you know, tried to be acting smart. And the officer says, I already got it. So, you know, it works.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes the public can be stinkers, and so that has pretty much stopped all of that.
Good.
And it's well worth it.
Good.
Well worth it. In 2016, the police department purchased state-of-the-art use of Force Simulator, which is a great training tool. And it allows the officers to train for real-life situations with electronic guns. The system includes scenarios that require the officers to utilize communication, negotiation, and de-escalation for a positive outcome. And they like practicing with that. So, in 17, the department purchased every officer a range membership to Shooter's World to enhance their shooting skills. You know, we don't have a range. We're probably never going to have a range. It's very difficult to get time, you know, and so we felt like, hey, you know, that's worth it. Yeah. And then they can go, they can make their own time, and they can practice. We bought a bunch of ammo, so they're, you know, they're tickled about that. And finally, every year we buy new patrol cars. You know, they have to be rotated out. The old style cars are pretty much gone now. I don't think we have any left. And but this year the police department anticipates an upgrade to the mobile data computers in every police car as well. And that's not cheap. But that software enables the officers to streamline the police reports, do them more quickly, and to get it over with and done with, rather than having to go back to the station and, you know, mess around doing that. So they really like being able to do that. So the efficiency of the police force is increased and decreased the time that the officers spend out of service working to try to complete the paperwork. And honestly, I would compare our PD to any other city's PD. We have a great group of men and women and support staff. I'm very, very proud of that.
So we probably have time for one, maybe two more questions. So I'm going to skip ahead to the question 16 on 15 and 16, and maybe we can sort of combine these since it's a similar subject.
Okay.
In November 2016 meeting minutes, your deputy city manager explains that there are 3 enterprise funds, which are water, sewer, and sanitation funds. Can you tell us what enterprise funds are, how the city receives them, and then are those enterprise funds the only funds used for water, sewer, and sanitation?
Okay. The funds are an accounting tool used to specifically group certain assets, liabilities, revenues, and expenses. And enterprise funds charge for the services that are provided. Ideally, you don't commingle funds. That's kind of a big thing about those. So they take the form of the rates charged on an account. In El Mirage, a resident will receive a single bill for water, sewer, and sanitation. So we combine it all. Even though Parks and Sons may be actually providing the sanitation, they're charging, you know, us an overall rate. We're a water provider, so we take care of that, and we have sewer, so we take care of that. The enterprise funds are not the only funds that are used for water, sewer, and sanitation, but they are the most common. Some municipalities provide these services with their general fund. In those instances, the assets, liabilities, revenues, and expenses are commingled with the other general fund items. But typically, if the revenues are insufficient to cover expenses, the city first looks at opportunities to reduce expenses. If the expenses cannot be reduced, the most common action is to update or perform a rate study, which we've done that twice now in the last 8 years. And, you know, if the rates need to be adjusted, then we can show why, and we can explain to the customers, taxpayers, why their bills are going to go up. So in the long-term health of the fund and the service is being provided, and it's open and it's transparent.
So it's trackable. Good. All right, we're going to go to question 17.
Okay.
What is the city doing to help the YMCA expand programs and become financially successful?
We did a different kind of financing mechanism to actually build this building. We built it with the understanding that, and it was approved by property owners, residents. We build it, and the Y maintains it, staffs it, fixes it, does all those kind of things that cities aren't really equipped to do. So in addition to that, one of the additional projects we're working on right now is the development of an outdoor deck hockey. It's known as street hockey arena and basketball court. The hockey arena is a partnership between the City of El Mirage and the YMCA and the Arizona Coyotes. It's an initiative that they are bringing to a number of different communities, and we happen to be, we were the second that got the deck hockey arena. The base got the first one, but we're the first city that got one. So we're in the process now of adding amenities to it, like grandstands and lighting and a fencing around it and that kind of thing. And we're also adding outdoor basketball courts. And the Tohono O'odham Casino tribe and their enterprise are helping fund some of that. So that was very much appreciated with, you know, some of the money that they make on different things. And if people don't come collect their winnings, I can't imagine doing that. Would you not?
Can't either.
You know?
Yeah.
So whoever doesn't pick up their winnings, that goes into a little pot, and periodically they divvy it out to different community programs that are going on, and we happen to be a beneficiary of that. So we're very, very happy. But that YMCA has proven to be a huge state-of-the-art regional YMCA, and we're very, very proud of it. We just opened up the ability for all of our elementary schools. We have 5 elementary schools in Dysart Unified School District, and they're all going to be able to get free swim lessons.
Terrific. That's great.
So that's going to be coming out, I'm hoping this summer.
Oh, that'd be great.
So yeah. So that's part of what we're doing with the Y, and they have just been a godsend to us. They really have, because that's one of the things that we found out from the residents that was high on their list of wants, and we were able to do it.
That was a big deal, and getting that was great.
Yeah.
Did a nice job on that. So I'm going to sneak one more question in before we do our final. In El Mirage, there's a secondary property tax, and that's question 22. Can you please tell us what the tax rate is and how the funds are used?
I don't know what the tax rate is because we charge by a levy.
Okay.
And it stays the same every year, and that we've made it stay the same every year. But the secondary property tax in El Mirage are only collected to pay the debt service on voter authorized indebtedness. That's it. So when we built the police station, that was voter approved. Fire station was voter approved. YMCA was voter approved. And the roads, completion of the roads, we're getting over $60 million worth of roads for $6 million through MAG,
Wow.
the county, Prop 400, whatever. So that's why we tore them all up at once, because it was a choice. Do you want to have, 18 months to 2 years, or do you want to have 5 years with something torn up the whole time? I said, tear it up. Get it done. There's going to be, a number of people who don't really care about that strategy, but now we can see it paid off. And we're able to fund Dysart Road because we saved some money. So that's what the secondary property tax is. It built the parks, the streets, the police and fire station, city hall, and the recreation facility.
Great. So when you have clients who ask you about that, now you have an answer to that.
Yeah.
We've already talked a little bit, and you gave us some highlights of what you would like us as realtors to highlight to our clients, whether they're corporate or residential, commercial or residential. On your website or anything else that you can think about, is there anything else you would like us to guide our clients to on the website, or talk to them about, or point out to them as we talk about El Mirage to our clients?
I think the main thing is to try to get away from old images of what El Mirage used to be like, because I didn't even know about El Mirage when I moved there. I was living in Scottsdale. What do I know? My husband wanted to play golf, and he played every day, and so we wanted to be more on the west side, and so we actually moved into Pueblo temporarily. I bought one of the houses in the fairways, and then decided it was too small, so we went to Rancho El Mirage, bought a house there, and then he passed away while we were there, and I couldn't stay there anymore in the house. So I bought a house in Cactus Park, and I've been there about 5 years now. But I think the city has evolved, and we're making some really good changes, and we're trying our best to show that, we're not a bunch of thugs that are, doing graffiti all over the town and don't care about property taxes or our schools or that kind of thing. And it's really beginning to show. I know we still have some ways to go, but we're evolving, and we can't grow anymore because we're landlocked, but we're trying to improve what we have.
And I think you're doing a really nice job. It's starting to show, so you're right. All that.
Well, this
behind
kind
the
of thing
scenes work,
helps too, being able to talk to realtors about things. And
Absolutely.
you can always call me and ask a question. If I can't pick up the phone right then and there, leave a message, I will call you back. I answer everything. So,
And the mayor brought her business cards, so if you don't have her number, get her business card, and then you'll have her number.
there's a brochure thing over there and some things that Amber brought, but that may help you kind of see it. And if you haven't been there yet, go.
Yeah,
Go.
nice.
We'll show you around.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us this morning. This has been great information and a nice highlight to all the changes in El Mirage. So thank you very much for spending the morning with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.